Yo, what's going on? It's Terrell, Hall of Fame, D-Line, TBKC, and all that other good shh. Been a great week. Like I told you, it's all a catch-up process for me. And I'm very confident in the long run that this thing will be very, very great. Got some great news this week. I actually get a chance to do a video chat with a Fortune 500 CEO in the next, not this week coming, but the week after that. And we're making, just making some small moves, but for them, but giant moves for us. And trying to bring this community up to the next level and basically make, funding for everything a lot easier. And when I say funding, it's not necessarily the registry. It's more so to make these shows as low priced, get us into places where we can actually spread the breed in a positive fashion. And that's why it's absolute necessity that we get to a point that we're bringing good dogs to the table, because a lot of the work that I've been doing, which has slowed some things, is in an attempt to spread this breed to the world. That's why it's been a hardcore effort to go and argue with some idiots, but really push forward that we need to make this breed the best that we can make it, because as we do go more mainstream and more people who don't know what the American Bully is, we need to define the American Bully as a healthy dog and as a dog of respectable stature, you know what I mean? And I think we'll get there. But as I get past that, let me get into this. Young breeders, patience. Patience. I've had a couple good conversations this week in the midst of working. And one of the things I'm going to tell y'all is this. You don't build a program overnight. Some people get one dog and they breed the hell out of that one dog and they think that they made a program, but that's not the way things work. You have a program when you can actually produce the same thing over and over and over again. On this particular video, and now we're 2 minutes into it, but I'm going to tell you what I'm getting at here. When you're building a program, it's a large difference between your males and your females as far as the way you sort of should think about them. And this is why I'm going to tell you this. Your females, definitely foundation shit. You can take your females, you can get one bad female and damn near make a program. I would say you at least need two. I would want to have three. But that female is versatile, because if you get a truly badass female and you take her to, say, over her lifespan, you do 3 breedings with her and you pick 3 very good, well thought out studs, you run, you're going to produce, some future studs. You're going to produce some foundation bitches. And, hopefully that her blood is everything that you want it to be, and she produces like you want her to produce, and that'll lay you a great foundation. Now, of course, on the flip side, you can't have everything in your yard off of her. That's why I said you need at least another female to do something similar with and mesh those bloods, and you'll get probably a 10-12 year run out of that before you have to really start going something else. If you did 3 breedings with each female. But if you have 3 females, it makes it nice, because you can play around with those bloods for a long time and continue to do some big things with them. And, run back to the studs that you chose for them, and that'll give you a 20-year run. And the thing about it is if you notice, I'm talking about 2 or 3 females, because I look at that as a great way, because once you have a foundation and you keep those 2 or 3 females and you just playing with it back and forth, you know what I mean? You don't get so tight. You can make, like I said, if you got the 3 females, 2 to 3 breeding, that's 6 to 9 variations in your yard of these different bloods, and that gives you a lot of different ways that you can go back and forth to keep your look, to keep the integrity, to keep all the qualities that I talked about on a previous video that you would want. Now, your male is something different. I see many people make this mistake, and it's a mistake. In my yard currently, I'll use myself as an example, as I do most of the time. I have one female that's a very, very big bitch, Hitomi, and she has her pedigree is like, I'm in love with her pedigree. I also have, Lagertha, and Lagertha is very, very much so a pedigree I'm in love with. Tons of edge, tons of Paco. Hitomi has the same type of stuff. Minnie has the same type of stuff. Now that I finally found a good vet, I'll get my dogs out of those guys, and bringing them with me. But the thing about this is that the males, this is why these females are going to be my producers of males, because their blood is exactly what I want. Paco, Remy, Excalibur, Denzel in some cases, a Mandela, Bistro, the dogs that I would use. So as I use, a stud like a Mufasa, or I use a Mandela, or, I use a Honey Badger, these dogs give me all edge blood, rock solid. So as I keep a male off of there, it's an all, I agree with everything that's on this dog's pedigree. And I love what's on this dog's pedigree. The reason why that's very important with your males is for one reason, is because your males have to be compatible with everything in your yard. Sometimes you can have a female and she might have a couple dogs on there that you really necessarily don't like, but they pass the test. Okay, that's fine, because you're going to run them to a male that's going to, address those issues. But when you have a male that has the issues, now his ability to go to all the rest of your other females is handicapped. You want, whenever you keep that male, especially pedigree wise, you want that male to be, that's the true foundation. You want him to have every single thing that you want out of your dogs. You want that male to be all the way on point. You want the male to have the size features, definitely have the health and the and the overall conformation features, but you also want that pedigree, because you don't want to have to keep on playing with your pedigrees 3 and 4 generations to erase stuff from your main stud. Your main stud should be the cleanup hitter. He should come in and address any issues that you have with your females, more so than anything. You know what I mean? He should be the guy that you can rely on left and right, no matter what. And as you get females to play around and experiment here and there, if you want to do that, he's the guy that you basing it off of, or they're the guys that you basing it off of if you have 3 or 4 studs. But the last thing you want to do is have a stud that you have to consistently make excuses for and find ways to do different things with. And as you build your yard, always remember that if it's one dog in your stud's pedigree that you really can't stand, you might not want to do that pedigree for your stud. That might be a female's pedigree. You want that stud to be rock solid. You want that stud to, when you have your studs, like my yard coming up, we'll have 4 or 5 new studs. Out of those 4 or 5 new studs, you'll be able to look at every one of their pedigrees, and I don't have an objection to anything in their pedigrees. That's how I know my foundation is strong. Now, it's vice versa at this point for me, that the females are very much like that also. But I'm talking about to you guys starting out. Do not buy a male if you do not like everything about that male, because I'm telling you, males are not as versatile as females. And when you get that male, you locked in on that male, and that's what it's going to be. Like I say, when you have your female, it's easier that if it's a little something there, you want to go and find a good stud for her, that's going to lock you down for a good breeding. When you have that male, it's hard to go searching out females. It's really hard to go searching out females. You got to buy those bitches. And then you got to go through the process of, does this work and does that work? It's too much work, But remember that as you go into this, your males have to be locked down. Pedigree, everything. That's why the males are always the face of the kennels. Your females are definitely your foundation where you can build your yard up at. But when you do pick that male, make sure that male is 100% locked in, because eventually that male, a lot of times will be going to grandkids in your yards and great grandkids in your yards. He should be the foundation, So make sure you go about it that way, because if not, I've seen it happen a million times. People don't throw away males. People don't throw away females. They try to fix shit with that. The males, they try to throw them away, unfortunately. So, do your due diligence. Make sure you get you a nice male. And God bless all y'all, man. Go Browns.